We begin college football final with a Saturday tradition unlike any other. Great finish and a better celebration. Abilene Christian, Stephen F. Austin. Stephen F. Austin down. Trey Self, Remy Simmons. Under a minute left in the game. We're tied at 29. We go to overtime. So Abilene Christian hit a field goal. Stephen F. Austin could win it. Chad Awney, ball game, 35-32. Their head coach, Kobe Carthy, had recently been out with COVID.
Get it.
He's back on the sideline this week.
Get it.
That's what he's
Where's
doing.
his mask?
He's taking it. Not only does he not need a mask, doesn't need a shirt.
No.
And then again, why do any of us? Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Berry. What a celebration to start a big college football Saturday. Gentlemen, why was it so big? I know what you're thinking. The Mountain West is back.
It is.
Not true. Penn State, Big Ten is back. And what an upset we had on Saturday. Indiana hadn't beaten a top 10 team since 1987. 41 straight, under 4 to play. Michael Penix finds Peyton Hendershot wide open across the field, but he can't grab it.
Indiana's up by 6. If you're going to knock off a ranked opponent, you have to hit the layups. This goes right through Hendershot's hands. They would have to punt the ball away.
So ensuing Penn State drive, Sean Clifford drops back, had loads of time before finding a wide open Jahan Dotson.
Penn State was down 17-7 at the half. The comeback is complete. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. Penn State takes the lead.
They take a 1-point lead. Later, Indiana, 4th and 21. Penix to tie Freifogel, which just overthrows him.
Ball just gets tipped, just goes off the fingertips of Freifogel here.
And you're thinking all of a sudden, here we go. But look at
No, don't go.
Devin
Gets
Ford.
in the end zone. There's a minute 40 left. Gives Indiana enough time. He thought about it on the inch line.
Could be a dollar candidate. Penn State leads 28-20, so Penix, he gets another life. Jacoby Hewitt, 14 yards.
How did he get that throw out under duress, and how did Hewitt make that catch?
First and goal, Indiana. Great questions answered here by Penix. Keeps it himself, 28-26. Joey, they have to go for two.
I love
to do it. So Penix keeps it himself to tie.
Of course he's going to keep it himself. There's a bunch of guys. He rushed for negative 18 yards, but in overtime, he gets this one in. Let's go.
Stats irrelevant. Moment is 3rd and 7. 9 for Penn State. Clifford scrambles. Finds Parker Washington falling in the end zone.
Threw for 3 touchdowns, but also ran for 119 yards in a TD. A great job here by Washington getting his hands underneath that football.
So that's the first possession in overtime. Now the second overtime. Penix finds Whop Failure.
Failure was a 1,000-yard receiver last year. He's their go-to guy. 5'11", Barry. Those are the receivers I like to see make plays.
So, Indiana down 35-34. What do? You go for two.
Let's go.
Penix keeps it himself. Dives.
Does he get it? Does he get it?
So it's called It's called good on the field. I want you to have another look. Each of you weigh in quickly. Good or no good?
I think if you called it good on the field, you have to leave it as good. If they called it no good, it'll stay as
It's just the physics of football, guys.
It really is
There's
physics.
not
Break it
enough
down.
evidence to overturn
Break
that.
it down.
Gravity, and they didn't overturn it. It was the upset of Saturday. Indiana wins 36-35. James Franklin, what did you see?
From what I was told, it could have went either way. But if it's something that could have went either way, then it's inconclusive, and the play calls, and the stand calls. Yeah, at the end of the game, you don't get explanations. Once they make a decision, they run off the field. You're never going to get an explanation at the end of a game, especially with a controversial player or call.
In my mind, I scored. I knew it was a touchdown as soon as I did it. That's why, I told the team, I was like, hey, when they were reviewing, I was like, man, it's a touchdown. It's a touchdown. I kept saying it's a touchdown because I just knew, I couldn't let the guys down today, So I made sure I gave my
I'm telling you what, Saturday was the 12th time the Hoosiers opened their season against an AP-ranked team, and the previous 11 times they lost by a combined 23 points per game.
How'd that go for you?
Not well. This win snapped the 41-game losing streak against AP top 10 teams, the second longest active streak entering Saturday. The last time they beat an AP top 10 team, 1987, which coincidentally was Galloway's rookie year in the NFL. When you look at how we got to the overtime point, Indiana was in this game the entire way. How did Penn State allow this to happen?
It's interesting. When you look at the stat sheet, Penn State had more yards. Indiana had like 211 yards in this game. but it was the turnovers by Penn State. They were 3 of 6 in the red zone. They had 10 penalties. And Indiana's good enough to beat you if you don't bring your A game. You'll see Sean Clifford, his feet are on the goal line, backs into the end zone, has a wide open Fryer move. That's his tight end. That's his go-to guy. Across the field, you have to hit this. Throws the interception, Indiana's in scoring position. And that's why they could put points on the board. They were up 17-7 at the end of the first half, and they didn't have a lot of offense. So here's the fumble. Again, Penn State having a chance to put points on the board. You got to find a way to get this done. You're a top 10 team. You're a team that everyone expects to challenge Ohio State for the Big Ten title. You have to find a way to make that play. They missed 2 field goals in this game, and if they make these kind of mistakes, they won't beat teams like Indiana. Now, they got Ohio State next, so they can make up for this, but people will be asking, were you looking ahead of Indiana? Indiana's a good football team.
They are, and I think you have to feel really good for their quarterback, Michael Penix Jr. Remember, had a right shoulder injury last year, missed half the season, and he didn't put up huge numbers in this one, 19-36, only 170 yards passing, but he made huge plays late in this game, and those highlights that we showed you, 2-minute drill in the situation, making unbelievable throws under duress into small windows, the 2 two-point runs late in this game, the touchdown pass in OT came on 3rd down. You look at Indiana's offense, they've got a really good group of receivers and running backs, and if Penix Jr. can stay healthy, I think they have a chance to be one of the better offenses in the Big Ten this year.
You guys said it in the highlight, Penix Jr. stats didn't jump off the page. What did is he stepped up when they needed him most, and because of it, Indiana perhaps got the biggest win on Saturday. The Big Ten's best hope for a playoff team has always been Ohio State. They got Nebraska on Saturday. Just first quarter, game tied at 7. Justin Fields and the offense gets in rhythm.
Justin Fields was 20 of 21 in this game. You see the fake zone read. It just occupies the safety for a second. It allows Garrett Wilson, a wide receiver, to run deep down the middle of the field. You cannot walk this to Garrett Wilson any better. I'll tell you, Wilson and Chris Olave, a wide receiver for Ohio State, that's one of the best 1-2 combos in the country.
And then here, early third quarter, Ohio State leading by 10. And again, he can do this, Jeff.
He looked real good running the football, too. He's going to scramble out of here. And it looks like a Nebraska defender has the angle to cut him off, but too much speed. You've got 6 defenders for Nebraska pursuing this play. Just use the sideline as a 12th defender. How about the circle button by Justin Fields?
The circle button, so underrated. Everybody likes the X button, R1, R2. Circle's going to get it done as well. Circle gets the square there, as does the Buckeyes defense. 7 Banks, our favorite playing football, scoop, and score.
I know as a team, Ohio State, to go back and think, defensively they didn't play well, but they did get a couple turnovers. They put this one in the end zone, which really puts this game away. At this stage, Nebraska has no chance to come back.
Which is when Joey started breathing, virtual lock implications, and the Buckeyes minus the points. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba, true freshman, maybe the catch of the day.
We got to go look at this again. The official said out of bounds, and I think in fast motion it looked out of bounds. Watch him get the foot down.
Toe tap. So good out of the true freshman. Ohio State now, that's a fathead, that's a poster. 13 consecutive wins by double digits against Big Ten teams. They toe tap their way to a beatdown, 52-17.
Was the number one thing going into the game was just getting to 1-0 and not trying to win a championship, not trying to get, Heisman Trophy, and just win the first game. And, I thought Justin played really well. I thought we left a lot in the field. We got a lot to coach off of on both sides of the ball. I thought Nebraska came out with a really good game plan, played really hard. I think they're going to have a good team this year. But we're just happy to be 1-0.
It just feels great to just be back out here and playing football again. So we're definitely excited, and we're just ready to move on to next week.
Look, they were the voices of the offseason for the Big Ten. We want to play football, and Fields showed an immediate why. Completed better than 95% of his passes against Nebraska. Good for best completion percentage in a game in Ohio State history.
Whoa.
He broke John Borton's record. 88% from 1952. Galloway's freshman year. More.
John Borton was a ball.
Double undercut by Barry Hayes.
Big
double undercut.
Little brown jug, Michigan, Minnesota. Great story before the game. The game featured an all-black officiating crew for the first time in any Power 5 conference game. First quarter, Michigan 1st and 10, trailing 7-0. Zach Charbonnet untouched.
Attitude run, down block, pulling a guard, and the defense for Minnesota was going to be a question mark. They lost 5 of their 6 top tacklers from a year ago. Nobody there filling the lane.
You know where the defense wasn't a question mark for the Wolverines? Michael Barrett just absolutely puts Tanner Morgan to bed. And
I always wonder how you quarterbacks don't see the blitz coming to your face. You got to feel this. You got to know he's coming.
14 straight points, 14-7 lead. You saw Barrett make the hit.
Yeah.
Look what he does here on the pooch kick, 66 yards.
So he plays that hybrid Viper position on defense because he's got tremendous speed. They say he runs in the 4.4 range at about 225 pounds. This guy does everything.
You got to watch out for the Viper. Remember in Top Gun, they didn't know Viper was up there, and all of a sudden he was there picking
And he was
people
there.
off. Yeah. Joe, you've never seen Top Gun?
I have not.
Dollar.
We'll address that in the D's. Ben Mason flips into the end zone. Look at the athleticism. Michigan up 21-10. Second quarter, 3rd and 2 from the 4, leading 28-17. Handoff to Hassan Haskins.
Yeah, Michigan ran the ball for 253 yards. Their offensive line played really well in this game.
And this is what Michigan can do. They can run the ball, and they did so on Saturday. They get the win 49-24 and loving it.
He was cool as a cucumber. Tell you what, he handled everything with aplomb. His accuracy in the passing game, real command of the offense, and he ran with the football with authority and had great ball security. Just really played an outstanding game.
When you look at the score, I felt like we were always in that game, maybe until the last 5 minutes. Like I felt there was something that we could do, and we just didn't take advantage of it.
You know, a Michigan football team coached by Jim Harbaugh, they want to run the ball. They want to be physical. And you saw a lot of attitude runs here on Charbonnet's long touchdown. Down block, H-back gets upfield. You're pulling a guard to try and create this seam. You see Mason here, 42. Encave it, crease them. All of a sudden, the guard just needs to get a piece of this defender. Zach Charbonnet offer a 70-yard run, open up the hole. These physical-type runs where they're getting a lot of movement. Remember, 4 new offensive line starters for Michigan, and boy, did they show up. Tight ends getting blocks, fullbacks getting blocks. Keep your eye on Jalen Mayfield, the right tackle. He's the next great one at Michigan. He's going to be a first-round pick, 320 pounds. Did a really good job running down close to the goal line. And I think with a young quarterback like Joe Milton now, just getting his feet wet, trying to gain confidence. We know Michigan always wants to be physical, but they're going to have to really rely on this run game, especially early this year. Really impressed with what they did on that side of the ball.
And they showed big play ability, which we haven't seen out of this Michigan offense, scoring 35 points in the first half, which hasn't happened in forever for Michigan. But I was impressed with their defense, with the 5 sacks. They forced 2 turnovers. On their schedule is Wisconsin. They have Ohio State. They have Penn State. They have Indiana. So this is a Michigan team that is going to be tested. But this is a great start. And a statement that says that Michigan is ready to go.
Yeah.
Now can they continue to do it?
A couple of things on Milton. He's the first quarterback recruited by Jim Harbaugh at Michigan to start for him. After the game, Harbaugh said he played with poise. He was calm. That start went exactly how they envisioned it would. And oh, by the way, Michigan, 5 rushing touchdowns. First time they've done that since the start of 2017. We are just getting started here on College Football Final. A big G5 game in Dallas. Ponies, Bearcats. Who comes out on top? Plus, in the Big 12, you had Iowa State and the Pokes for the battle of Big 12 supremacy. Did Chuba chew his way through the defense? Find out. We're off and running. This is College Football Final.